Hey, don't know if anyone is gonna see this. I just felt like this was something I needed to do. Uh, Hopefully, this will help someone somehow, some way, with whatever they're going through. Feel free to reach out to me to talk or pray with you. But I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to get on here and talk about what happened in my life, the things I've been through, and how I've came through. But anyway, so yeah, I ended up before I was 8 years old. I got taken from my family. I was sexually abused. I was tortured for months. I was almost murdered in the adoption system, no less. Very system created to help kids in bad homes and situations. Yeah, that one. I ended up, and I'm just gonna keep this short as possible. I'm just gonna go over some details, and if someone out there sees this and you got any questions, just feel free to reach out, I guess. But anyways, I got adopted after being in the adoption system for I don't know about a year, being passed around. No one really wanted me. I guess from what I was told, no one no one could handle me is what I was told or whatever. Mm, I know that's a lie though. But anyways, yeah, I ended up getting adopted, and I was on Ritalin, and they took me off Ritalin. Said, I was diagnosed with ADHD. Um, Turns out I was actually a pretty smart kid. Um, when I was adopted, they pulled me off the Ritalin, said I didn't need none of that new age crap, pretty much, and just proceeded to whoop the fool out of me every day for years, sometimes multiple times a day. Um, I ended up, while I was in the adoption system, one of the places I was at, uh, I was homeschooled, and they found out that they tested me. Um, Found out an IQ test, found out I was actually pretty smart. Um, by the time I was adopted, I was already supposed to be in the fifth grade going into sixth grade or something like that. And then they ended up, my adopted parents thought, well, he'll get made, well, what I was told, anyways. They said that they made the decision that, since I was already adopted, I was already going to be a target for being made fun of. So instead of putting me in the grade that I had already worked into, they put me back with kids my own age, which just led to me being bored in school and not doing my work. I wasn't challenged at all, so, go figure. Of course, that was going to happen. Um, there, there was a lot of bullying in school. I got bullied quite a bit. Uh, I guess probably some of it just being poor in a poor family, being dressed funny. I mean, quite literally, like cotton shorts with a cotton t-shirt that was the exact same color. Yeah, I'd have probably picked on me too if things were different back then. But anyways, I don't want this to be some kind of rant video or whatever, or saying I had it way worse than everyone else, or dang sure don't want to say the world owes me something. But I don't know. Just school system is part of bullying and stuff. I was in quite a few fights, and school, their zero policy system or whatever, their policy was that if you're involved in a fight, then you got your butt whooped. So I'd get my butt whooped at school, and then my adopted parents, they had their policy. If I got my butt whooped at school, I got my butt whooped at home. Heck, there's one time I remember there was over 20 something switches they made me go out and pull, and I was stripped down to my whitey tidies, and he'd grab a handful in his right hand, built like a daggum grizzly bear, and just proceeded to over under. Just, I had blood and welts all the way from my calves all the way about halfway up my back until he finished all them switches. Broke them all down the nub so short he couldn't even hit me with what was left in his hand no more. And he'd grab another handful of his left hand and just keep on going, about 4 or 5 switches at a time. Just proceeded to whoop me till there's nothing left. So there's also other forms of punishment they tried and stuff, and it was so bad that someone had called CPS in on them, and I pretty much just flat out lied to them and said, well, if I ever got a whooping I didn't deserve, then it was just them catching up with me. I repeated something I'd heard somewhere, and uh, I, I was scared. I mean, I know what happened to me in the CPS system. I didn't want to go back into that. Kind of figured the devil you know's got to be better than the devil you don't know type of situation. Well, I went through all that just to say that if you're going through something in life, suicide ain't the answer. I had to learn a lot about forgiveness. So, if you need help, I'm here. There's more people like me out there, probably. I know a part of what I had to go through where I was tortured inside the adoption system. They called it, and from the research I'd done, pretty sure I'm not the only one out there. I just ain't ever met anyone else that's been through it, which, is not really something you talk about. So, but, from what I understand, late 80s to early 90s in the Texas adoption system, it was, well, I don't know. But anyways, it don't matter. Like I was saying, I had to learn a lot about forgiveness. I had to learn that going to church and reading and praying, it's not all about the fire and the brimstone and running away from hell as much as it is to seeing the love that God has for you. That there actually is a good, loving Father out there. I'd like to introduce you to him. So, hopefully, this video finds its way to someone who could use a little bit of support. Because God knows these days you ain't gonna get it from, well, I'll say it. You ain't gonna get it from a woman. They don't care. Most time to them, you're just a provider. They don't care about all your pains and sufferings. They don't care about the labor pains. They just want the baby. They just want you to provide. But I'm here, judgment free. Oh, and whatever it is you think you've done to where you can't be saved, I ended up coming through that stuff, and there was a time in my life where I got real mean. And instead of any time of me feeling hurt, that hurt would just turn to anger. And I'm by no means some type of licensed shrink or anything. I'm just a man out here trying to do some good in the world, trying to help someone else out. Seeing how I could serve, and just hoping that what I went through wasn't in vain. If I could help just one person, I'd say it's worth it.